Here is the recap of the first season of The Last of Us. The action is set in 2003. Joel is a single father who raises his daughter Sarah while working as a construction worker with his brother Tommy. One day, the news begins to report that there are more cases of aggressive behavior in the world, but the characters do not pay attention to it. In the evening, Sarah decides to look in on her elderly neighbors and discovers that an old woman who could not walk before had killed her nurse and husband, after which some tendrils protruded from her mouth and she stuck them into her victim. The girl runs away in terror and is rescued by her father at the last moment. They get in the car and go to the city, where there is already complete chaos, as people begin to turn into these creatures. The main characters have to leave the car, after which they run into the military. The soldier gets an order to kill everyone who catches his eye, and he shoots them, but then Joel's brother Tommy appears and kills the soldier. However, it turns out that Sarah is badly wounded and dies in her father's arms. 20 years go by and humanity is almost wiped out. The survivors take refuge where they can, and Joel lives in a military quarantine zone run by the FEDRA, Federal Disaster Response Agency. Joel has been through a lot over the years and has become a smuggler along with his girlfriend, Tess. They transport various goods between quarantine zones and other settlements. Tommy, Joel's brother, hasn't been in touch for a long time, so the main character decides to go 1,000 miles away in the hope to find him. However, to do so, he needs a car and supplies, which he doesn't have. We are told why the infected appeared. 20 years ago, the cordyceps fungus mutated. Previously, it could only exist in insects, but now it is able to penetrate the human brain. It all started in a flour factory. The products from that factory found their way into the homes of unsuspecting people all over the world. Millions of people were infected in one day. When the fungus reached the brain, it took control of the person. People lost consciousness, and now their only goal is to infect as many people as possible. Governments commissioned scientists to create a vaccine, but it turned out that a cure for the fungus was simply impossible to create. Therefore, mankind was doomed. Within 20 years, people affected by the fungus also began to transform. Some of the so-called runners turned into clickers. The fungus has grown through their skull, and they have lost their sight, but they are flawlessly oriented by hearing. With their incredible strength, they are able to tackle anyone, so they are very dangerous. We also learn that the infected can transmit information to each other over long distances, with the help of mushrooms extending underground. The Fedra that runs the military quarantine zones across America is a very brutal organization dominated by dictatorship, and many people don't like it. This is why there is a resistance called the Fireflies, who are trying to overthrow the current government. Orphan girl Ellie, who studies at the military academy of Fedra, does not get along with her classmates. One night, her friend Riley sneaks into her room and tells her that she has joined the ranks of the Fireflies. Ellie is upset, as they will be on opposite sides of the barricades in the future, but her friend invites her out for a walk. They sneak into a restricted area rumored to be infested, but Riley reports that it's empty. The girls have a great night out playing old arcade games, riding rides, and taking pictures together. Suddenly, they are attacked by an infestation and bite them both, after which they realize they are doomed. However, it turns out that Ellie is immune for some reason. Fireflies find her and do not believe their eyes, because for many years they tried to find a cure for this fungus. Marlon, the Firefly leader, decides to send her to the other side of the country to a laboratory where their scientists can find a cure. Unfortunately, just at that moment they are attacked by a group of bandits, and Marlene realizes that they don't have the people to get Ellie out of town, since the area is guarded by Fedra. She hires smugglers Joel and Sarah, who she instructs to take the girl to their secret base near Boston. Along the way, the characters learn that Ellie has been bitten and is immune. Stale Joel doesn't believe a cure can be created, but Tess is hopeful. As they make their way through the infected city, they run into the clickers. They manage to escape, but Tess is bitten. Upon reaching the right place, it turns out that the secret Firefly base has been destroyed by the infected. Joel wants to leave everything and go to his brother Tommy, as he is still worried about him. But Tess persuades the man to deliver Ellie to the laboratory, whatever it may cost him. The woman then sacrifices herself to save the main characters from the impending horde of infected. We are transported back 20 years. A man named Bill has been preparing for something like this all his life and has built a bunker with everything he needs for the apocalypse. When the people left his little town, he fences it off, but soon a guy named Frank falls into one of his traps. They fall in love with each other and build their household. One day they meet Joel and Tess and a friendship develops between them. However, by 2023, Frank and Bill are getting too old and sick, so they decide to leave this world painlessly. Just then, Joel and Ellie come to see them. The man is upset that he couldn't say goodbye to his friends, but he gathers supplies, takes the car, and sets off. Joel's plan is to find his brother Tommy, who used to be Firefly, and he will tell them where to find the laboratory. The main characters drive into Kansas City, where they are attacked by some people. After fighting back and losing their car, they hide in a skyscraper and are soon found by two survivors, Henry and his brother Sam. They tell them that the locals overthrew Fedra and carried out a lynching, killing everyone who cooperated with Fedra. Henry also tells them that there are no infected in town, as they were all driven underground in the past. The next day they try to get out of town together, and soon the locals catch up with them. However, an explosion causes a hole to form in the sewers, and the infected begin to escape from there. The main characters manage to escape, but Sam is bitten. Henry kills his brother and then himself. 3 months later, the main characters reach Wyoming, where they find a small settlement. There, Joel meets his brother and tells him the purpose of his journey. It turns out that Joel has become attached to Ellie and is very worried that he will not be able to handle the mission, as he is already old and does not have enough strength to protect the girl from all threats. Joel asks Tommy to go instead of him, but Ellie is against it, as she is also attached to the old man. So the two of them go further, getting the location of the old Firefly lab from Tommy. When they reach the University of Eastern Colorado, they discover that there really were fireflies here, but for some reason they left the place. Joel finds a map and realizes that they have moved to Salt Lake City. Suddenly, the main characters are attacked by marauders, and Joel is badly injured. They manage to escape, but the man loses consciousness and falls off his horse. Ellie does not know what to do now. She drags Joel to the nearest building, but he understands that he probably will not make it, so he orders the girl to go on alone. However, Ellie does not want to leave him. She stitches up his wound and nurses him back to health as a new father. While Joel is out, Ellie goes hunting, kills a deer, and runs into two strangers. She makes a deal with them that she will give them half of the animal in exchange for medicine for Joel, who has developed an infection. While one of them went to the settlement to get penicillin, the other, named David, offers Ellie to join them, and then tells her that he knows who he and Joel are. It turns out that the marauders who attacked them were from his commune and his people want revenge. However, no one touches Ellie, because in their settlement there is a Christian cult, and David is their spiritual leader. The girl escapes with her medicine, and David orders his men to find the couple. Ellie injects penicillin into Joel, who is still lying unconscious. Soon the girl realizes that David's men have gotten here and tries to lead them away from the house with the old man. She is caught, however, and taken to the settlement to a cult. Upon coming to his senses, Joel realizes what is happening. Capturing two marauders, he's beating the location of the settlement out of theme. Meanwhile, Ellie is locked in a cage, and David tells her that their commune is very hungry. The girl notices a human ear under the table, after which she realizes that their leader feeds his men human flesh, and they do not even know about it. David unequivocally hints to Ellie that he wants to pair up with her and have her bear him children. She breaks the cannibal's finger and bites him, after which he decides to kill the girl by butchering her for meat. At the last moment, Ellie announces that she is infected, which distracts David. She manages to kill his partner, and Ellie tries to escape, but all the doors and windows are locked. Eventually, she attacks David and brutally kills him. Once outside, she is met by Joel, who takes the girl out of this hellish place. We are shown that in the past, during childbirth, Ellie's mother was bitten by an infected person, and she cut the umbilical cord after the bite. That is why the girl acquired immunity. In the present tense, the characters make their way to Salt Lake City. Suddenly, the fireflies appear and knock them both out. Joel wakes up, and Marlene tells the man that Ellie is being prepped for surgery. It turns out that to create a cure, they will have to remove the girl's brain, that is, kill her. Joel doesn't want her to die, but the fireflies don't intend to retreat. The man decides to act. He snatches the weapon from the guards and starts to break into the laboratory. He eventually manages to save Ellie by shooting the surgeon, and while she is unconscious, he drags her to the car. He kills Marlene, as he knows she will surely be looking for the girl, after which he drives away. After a while, Ellie wakes up and Joel lies to her that the fireflies have failed to get the cure. They return to Wyoming to the settlement with Tommy. Ellie asks Joel if he lied to her about the fireflies. He answers that he was telling the truth, but Ellie guesses that he lied. This is the end of the first season. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.